So what are B1 and B2 visas in America?
A B1, B2 visa is basically a visitor's visa. It could be for tourism, it could be for business, but you're going to the US for a short amount of time and then you're going to leave. That's a B1, B2 visa. Sometimes people say, well, what's the difference between B1 and B2 and then B1, B2? There's no real big difference. It's all just a visitor's visa. You want to go to the US and want to go back to your home country, you need a B1, B2 visa.
Great. Now, Ben, with these short-term travel visas, why is the purpose of travel versus home ties important for the visa interview?
A lot of times the visa officers are going to ask you about your purpose of travel. That's mostly the first question that they'll always ask to a visa applicant who's going for a B1, B2 visa. They'll say, okay, what's your purpose of travel? What are you going to do in the US? And maybe you're going for tourism. Maybe you're going to say, okay, well, tourism, right? Well, it's a very short answer, and it doesn't really give them much in terms of being able to feel confident you'll use your visa well. Even if you give them a very fleshed out plan, you say, oh, well, I'm going to Florida. I want to go to visit Disney World, and then I'm going to go to Miami, and then I'm going to my cousin's graduation in Atlanta, right? Okay, well, you've got a full plan there, but you haven't really still given them any reason to believe that you'll go back to your home country yet. So this is one of those concepts that I like to tell my visa applicants. You need to know what the visa officer needs to know. And that's kind of your home ties more than your purpose of travel. The purpose of travel needs to make sense, right? It needs to be real. It needs to be believable. But really, they want to know why are you being pulled back to your country afterwards, right?
That's great. I actually recently just read a good blog article from Argo about how to demonstrate home ties with a few more tips. So we'll make sure we link that in this video as well so you guys can check that out. Friends, in this video, we're talking about B1, B2 visas. I've gotten tons of questions from you guys in comments and messages about B1, B2 visas. So Ben's going to be breaking those down. And again, welcome to Chine Coaching. I'm Rob. And here at Chine Coaching, we're all about helping you guys be successful in your cross-cultural journeys, studying abroad, working abroad. And a big part of that journey is visas and visa interviews. And so we're going to be breaking down the B1, B2 visas to have success there. And Ben, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ben. I'm with Argo Visa, and I'm a former visa officer. I used to be the visa officer who was doing those interviews behind the window in the embassy and the consulates. At Argo Visa, we've got a network of over 20 former visa officers that have worked in 35 countries, speak 14 languages, and in total, we've adjudicated over 1 million visas. So we've got a lot of accumulated experience and knowledge that we can use to help you get your visa issued.
Fantastic. Now, going back into these B1, B2 visas, why is the visa officer sometimes asking weird questions to these visa candidates?
I get a lot of people that ask me why the visa officer want to ask me all these questions about my parents. I'm going to the US. I'm applying to go. Or why were they asking me about my application to go to the UK 5 years ago, right? Well, the visa officer doesn't know anything about you, right? You walk up, they see you, they see your passport, so they see your nationality, they scan it, and then they look at what's in your application, but they don't know anything else about you, right? What they're trying to do with all these questions that they ask you is just figure out who you are, right? And how you're going to use your visa when you travel. So that's why they're asking these questions. They may focus on one piece of information in your application, your DS-160, that's kind of unique, right? That draws their attention. Oh, I see that you have a cousin in the US. Okay, then I'm going to start asking you lots of questions about your cousin just because they don't know what else to ask you. What you need to do, like we tell people with every single visa class, this is for B1, B2s, but it applies to all the others, is know your highlights, right? They may be asking you about your cousin in the US or that UK visa application 5 years ago, but you need to know, okay, I need to let them know that I'm halfway through my master's degree here in my country, that I've just bought a house, right? Whatever these highlights are that you have, they might not know how to ask you about that because they don't know about it. So you have to bring it out on your own.
That's great. My friends, if you're liking this video and learning a lot, give a big thumbs up to say thanks to Ben, sharing his tips and experience. And our chai question for you in this video is, what other questions do you have about B1, B2 visas? Again, these are visitor visas, so tourist visas, short-term work business visas as well. So yeah, let us know what other questions you guys have. Want to see those, maybe help you more in the comments there as well. Okay, now Ben, a big question that people are going to want to know is, what is going to help make that visa officer issue that visa?
That is the big question, isn't it, Rob? The answer is simple, and especially in the case of a B1 B2 visa, it's the simplest because you're not going for a specific program for school or a J visa. And so the thing that you have to do for the visa officer is you have to what we call overcome 214B. Now that's some technical language, and what that means is you have to convince the visa officer that you're going to be a good traveler. Now, for you that are interested in the technicalities, 214B, if you've ever seen one of these sheets, the law says that every visa applicant is assumed to be intending to immigrate unless they can prove to the visa officer's satisfaction that they're not, right? So the burden is on you to prove yourself to the visa officer, right? And when you do that, you have overcome 214B. The point of the visa interview is not to just answer questions. It's to proactively convince the visa officer. So that's the biggest tip that I have for people is that you can't go in passively. You've got to go in proactively, right? Like you're doing sales. Not everyone has done any sales in their life, but if you're doing sales, you can't just wait to be asked questions by the customer. You want to try to tell the customer proactively what's great about this product or this service. You have to know why the customer might want this product and tell them about how it's going to help them. In the same way, you're selling yourself. You're selling the idea that you yourself are going to be a good traveler. So that's what you've got to do. You've got to overcome 214B, and you've got to convince the visa officer you are going to be a good traveler.
Yeah, and Ben and I have made a separate video on 214B rejections and reasons for these rejections. So check that out. We'll share the links and you can learn a lot more about that and how to avoid that. Now, as we're coming out of this pandemic, how has the pandemic around the world impacted B1 and B2 visas for America?
In one word, Rob, severely. There are a lot of countries that have over a year backlog in B1, B2 visa applications. And so a lot of clients of mine, they've wanted to go to other countries where they might not have a backlog, right? Let's say in one country, you've got a 400-day wait time. Another country has a 7-day wait time. So you think, well, I can just fly over to that country and have my interview. Sometimes that can be a good idea, but other times that's going to put you in a bad situation as a TCN. I think a lot of people might already know this term. It stands for third country national. Basically means that you're applying outside of your home country. You need to be extra prepared because the visa officers there are going to be a little bit more suspicious because what are you doing here? Why are you in this country and not in your country where you reside? So there are options, and I think the visa officers right now, they all know that this is more common because of the pandemic. And so they're a little bit more willing to accept it. And you just have to let them know, listen, I'm here because of the pandemic. There were no visa appointments available for a year in my country, but I need to get to the US for X reason. I need to go to my sister's graduation. I want to go to visit my nephew who was just born in the US. I want to go visit schools because I'm looking at universities that I might want to attend. Whatever your reason is, you got to let them know why it's important to you and why you've come to a separate country to apply.
That's great. Yeah, I feel like there's even more pressure now because these long wait times and everything's been pushed back from the pandemic that people really want to get these visa interviews right. And so, how can Argo Visa coaching really set people up for success to prepare and succeed in these interviews?
That's a good point. If you're waiting that long for your interview or you're spending that money to travel to another country, you want to get it right the first time. You've got your best shot getting your visa issued the first time that you go in for your visa interview. Don't waste that first opportunity. Don't think, I'll just go in there and try, and then if it doesn't go well, then I'll really put in the effort to prepare well. We can help you prepare at Argo Visa from the very beginning to pass that interview the first time, right? We know what your highlights are going to be. We will know what your hurdles, what your weaknesses might be. We'll know how to present those to the visa officer to maximize your chances. We did 1 million of these visa interviews. We know what it takes. So what you can do, you can go to argovisa.com. That's our website. You can book a consultation one-on-one with a former visa officer there who's worked in your country doing visas for people from your country. I've got many clients that have worked all over the world. I've got many that have worked in India. I know that you have a lot of subscribers in your audience, Rob, who are from India. We've got a lot of visa officers who worked in India and know how to help you specifically. So go to our website, check that out, and you're going to find a lot of help when you have a consultation with one of us. The insight that we bring is really second to none, and it's unknown. There's no other resources out there where it's actual former visa officers in the embassy, in the consulates, bringing their experience and now helping visa applicants.
Yeah, I love getting the messages and the emails, people saying, hey, they booked an appointment with you, and they got the results they were hoping for. So that's really exciting. So I'll be sharing the links for you guys to connect more with Argo, how to learn more and get help from them. Ben and I have also made another video about really important tips on how to improve your chances in getting approved. This is a great video. We'll have links for that as well. Be sure to check that out. And Ben, thanks again. I love getting to learn from you, and what you've shared today has been super helpful.
Thanks, Rob. It's always great visiting you and Chai and coaching.
Definitely. Friends, be sure to connect with us online on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram. Be subscribed to our email and newsletters. We're really thankful and just love you guys being a part of this community. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.